My site is in South Belfast. As you can see, it's just below Ballynafe. So the idea of my project is that it's all about the changes of state, both physical and metaphysical. And this would be set in the context of retelling the story of the laundries. So the method would be forensic investigation and forensic cleaning. And then the programme of my project is both museum and memorial space. It has an experiential exhibition of the evidence that I'd like to uncover on the site. And the idea would be that I'm educating future generations about the local history. And then it also has this steam cleaning performance aspect, which is the idea of part of the healing process for the survivors. And then this sort of third element of the project would be the Rose Garden. This is the idea of giving the survivors a place of sanctuary that they can go to. So then this is just a quick comic strip trying to gather all my understanding of what happened in these laundries and sort of why it was so covered up. I'm not going to go too much into this because I'm sure you're aware of the history. The laundries weren't just something that happened in Belfast, they happened all over the world. So this is just my sort of understanding of all the Irish diaspora and how that affected where the laundries were in the world. And this is just a quick mapping of where I found other laundries within Ireland. It's probably not exhaustive, but it's just to get an idea of where this was happening. I just want to quickly acknowledge that in the Republic of Ireland in Dublin, there are plans to add a memorial to the remaining building of the Sean McDermott Laundry. But I don't think this is enough. I feel like my project is still valid. One, because you kind of need to acknowledge it in Northern Ireland, and you also need something much bigger in scale than just a small memorial. So I'm kind of imagining more like the scale of the Jewish Museum. There were multiple laundries within Belfast that I could have looked into, but I decided to go for the one on Ormeau Road because it's the most unaltered, least demolished, and therefore has the most evidence remaining on the site of what happened to these poor women. So this is just what the building looked like. You probably recognise it if you've been to South Belfast. And then this is part of my process. So first of all, I'm gathering all the evidence I can find on the site with regards to what happened in this laundry. So, for example, one of the quite significant things I found was the burial ground, which is now in amongst the car park on the site. So people don't really notice that there's this burial ground and a big statue of the Mary Magdalene. And then this is the second stage of my project, so I'm trying to air the dirty laundry and exhibit the evidence of what I find on the site so that the public can sort of treat it like a museum where they can reflect on the history. So then ironing things out is the third phase of my project, and this is the idea that I'd be exposing the truth and giving the closure to the women. So I've begun designing a new route through the building in order to expose different aspects of the project. So, for example, the hidden entrance to the site. These women wouldn't have been allowed often to use the main entrance. They would have had to go through an underground tunnel. So I want to design that into my project and sort of make a feature of it. So then these are just a couple of renders showing that I'd need quite extensive plumbing and water towers on the outside in order to provide this sort of steam performance inside the building. So then I've begun designing the structure for the roses to climb on. You wouldn't actually see the structure. The idea would be that the structure would be covered in climbing roses, and the roses would be an homage to the poem that one of the survivors wrote where she referred to herself as the wild rose. And then in the middle you've got the existing statue of the Mary Magdalene holding a baby, which is currently the only way to pay respects to the dead mothers and babies that died on this site. And the final sort of phase of the project would be the conclusion that this draws, so the clean sheet, namely being the change of state. So you've got this shift in educational values, social values, the relationship between politics and religion has changed significantly in Ireland. The church has a lot less power now than it did. Our opinions of slavery and exploitation have significantly changed, so we now see this as very wrong, even though it was only 50 years ago that this was happening, our values have changed a lot. And then as a result of this, the attitudes towards law and punishment have changed significantly. So then it would have been okay to punish someone by making them work as a slave and putting them in these institutions, but we would never do that now. We see that as very disturbing. And then obviously women's rights have significantly changed. So men and women, not just in Ireland, but in a lot of countries now are seen as equal and therefore shouldn't be treated in this way. And that's the end of my presentation. I would love to hear your thoughts. I have a couple of questions which I would like to ask. Thank you.